All right, let's hop into U.S. women's national team news. Let's chat a little bit about She Believes Cup. U.S. Soccer announcing the dates and the teams for the 2023 edition of She Believes Cup. It's going to be kicking off in February, running from the 16th through the 22nd, and it's official. Brazil, Japan, and Canada are the three teams participating in the tournament alongside the United States.
Huge that we get this announcement, we get dates. We had talked about it, that the U.S. was going to play a number of friendlies, a number of matches and opportunities, game matches to get competition against other top powerhouses in the world before the World Cup, and She Believes was one of them. This was a tournament I know you and I had both circled. A lot of people had circled to kind of say, hey, who can the U.S. get to come to the U.S.? Because this tournament is always played on U.S. soil. That's fantastic, right? So it's a little bit of an advantage for the U.S. so they can do that. But to bring over teams like Canada, Brazil, Japan, these were teams that were excited to play against. And I think we picked them to play against them when we did like our top 8 picks of who we want the U.S. to play against in 2023. I know Japan was definitely on that list, and I know I had Canada definitely on that list, Brazil also on this. I mean, these 4 nations are ranked top 11 in the world right now. US is, of course, number 1. Canada jumped up to number 6. Brazil is ranked 9th, and Japan is 11th. So it's incredible to see. It'll be the tournament for the 7th year, and we're now back to different locations, right? That happened a couple years ago before COVID. It was in 3 different locations with 3 different double headers. That's kind of how the tournament rounds out, with 3 double headers. The winner is determined by total points, 3 points for a win, 1 point for a tie. And then, of course, it goes to all these different tiebreakers, goal differential, total goals, head-to-head, all these different things. But the competition is what is the most exciting to see, because it kicks off February 16th, the U.S. against Canada. These are Olympic gold medalist winners. It's a rematch of the CONCACAF championship. That's something that I'm also starring as well. This is 2 teams that I really want to see go against each other, and we get to see that February 16th to kick off the tournament.
Yeah, I'm excited. Look, when the news dropped, I was like, "This is good." You know, we've already gotten essentially the first set of matches for the United States women's national team to keep an eye on in 2023. So they made the announcement that their January camp is going to have a little bit of a different look to it. They're going to take the group of players to New Zealand. They're going to have a 6-day training camp in New Zealand. That's where the entirety of their group stage is going to take place for the World Cup. And then that 6-day training camp is going to conclude with a 2-game series against New Zealand. So we already knew how they were really kicking off their 2023. And we usually anticipate something like the She Believes Cup tournament to take place in that next FIFA window, and it's typically a February or March set of dates depending on the year. So we were anticipating what that was going to look like, and to sort of get that before 2022 closes out, that was also exciting for me as well. I also love that once the teams were announced or unveiled, that a couple of them were on our kind of wish list. We've been cranking out the content still here in the off season. And one of the things that we did talk about was, within some of the windows that are going to exist in 2023, who are some teams that we would like the United States women's national team to go up against and sort of face off before they head off to the World Cup. And I love that Canada is returning for She Believes Cup. Love that it's Brazil. Love that it's Japan. I think when you're looking at these 3 nations, you're looking at 3 completely different styles of play. And I think that that's going to, present a pretty healthy competition for this iteration of the She Believes Cup, because some of the things that they're returning to, like you mentioned, Lisa, the fact that it's going to be a multi-facility tournament. Again, they're going to play at 3 different areas. It's going to mirror that sort of quick competition, the quick fixtures in succession, in terms of like, here's one game, now we got to travel to play this other match, and now we've got to travel again to close out this round robin tournament, all these things that are kind of mirroring tournament-esque type of events. They're trying to get that feel and trying to
Yeah.
get that type of stuff into focus for the players that might be going to the World Cup. So I'm curious if maybe come 2023, if we're going to get another update about an
I
announced
know.
for
Yeah.
another pictures.
Honestly, we might, but time will tell, right? I'm hoping that we continue to get some crazy friendlies, because that's the best thing that's going to prepare these players. And even the She Believes against Canada, Brazil, Japan, like, this competition is good. Yes, the United States and Canada have a history of playing against each other, especially most recently in the CONCACAF W Championship. But Canada is a different team, and they're also a team that is coming off of a gold medal, and they're looking to go into the World Cup and dominate and win. Like, people cannot sleep on Canada. You look at what this Canada side has done most recently. They played against Brazil and they split those results. It was 2-1. They won one, they lost one. Canada has also played friendlies against Australia, Argentina, Morocco. These are really top competitions, and also a lot of different styles of competition. So Canada's bulking up their schedule of who they've played and the experiences they've had. I mean, when you look at Brazil, South American powerhouse, they played against Canada, right? They split those results 2-1, as I just mentioned. But before that, Brazil was on a 10-game winning streak before they dropped one to Canada. And now they're back on the winning side of things. So this Brazil side is going to pose a lot of questions to the United States and what they can do, but also Japan. This is a perennial Asian power team that we put on our list that we wanted to see the United States play, because the Japanese style of soccer is so intricate, and it's a lot of tiki-taka and playing and that type of style that the United States can struggle against. We saw them struggle against teams that play like that. And how can the United States combat that type of style? I mean, when you look at Japan and where the friendlies that they've most recently played in, they also played against England and they also played against Spain, two teams that United States just played against in like 2 sessions ago, right? It was Germany and then it was England and Spain right before that. And Japan lost to England 4-0, and then Japan lost to Spain 1-0. So I think the Japan USA match is one that I am so keyed in on. February 19th. This is a match that I really want to see how the United States plays. I mean, we're a bit away from this. We still have the January camp and what's going to happen in New Zealand and who's going to be on that roster. What we're going to see from Blackwood-Nofsky, and I don't think it's going to be anything too crazy or too different, but I think we'll get a really good sense of the different styles of soccer that the United States can play and can also play against when we look at Canada, Brazil, and Japan. And that's frankly what I want as a team that's leading into a World Cup.
No, I'm with you 100%. I think you hit it spot on with Japan. I think it'll be interesting to see how the US go up against a team that also want to spend a little bit of time on the ball, and kind of keep it on the ground at moments. It'll be interesting to see if they get frustrated by that, or how they can maybe break that down a bit. It's a little bit different, going up against a challenge of a team where you're saying our challenge is going to be whether or not we could sort of break down, a mid or low block from a team that might be looking to just sort of hit on the counter. And then when you go and look at Japan, they want the ball. They're saying like, hey, we want to get in there with your middle third and win the ball and wrestle that away from them as well, and sort of take it to you the other way. So I'm eager to see that matchup. More than I think maybe some of the others. Although I think Brazil and the United States always produces some really, really good stuff. I think this is going to be a point in time in the year that we have to make sure that we pay attention to, because we could see the return of some players from injury, perhaps, as well. Certain players are in certain timelines. And I mean, listen, if this is a game that we see, somebody like Catarina Macario get minutes, or somebody like Marta get minutes for Brazil, I'm tuning in.
That makes me so happy that these players that have been injured and suffering and we haven't seen them for so long, they're probably going to be back.
I mean, yeah. So I think people need to, like, I think folks need to like pay attention to that as well. It's like, yes, it's like we're excited about these teams, these four nations getting together and going head to head, but there's also the possibility that maybe we might, see some things. I don't want to get everybody's hopes up too high, because it all depends on the person and the player, right? And
Right.
where they are, and their fitness, and how comfortable they're able to go. But we'll see. And before that is going to be the January camp, and so we're going to get a real early look at probably the group of players that the coaching staff is going to continue to keep an eye on moving forward to the March, to the World Cup.